should be live if anyone is watching. Hopefully we'll get a few people watching. Just going to give it a few minutes, let the bot ping, and see how we get on. Okay. Hey, we've got Anarchy in chat. Good evening. Oh man, I've just realised that text is way too big. Let me just see if I can fix that. I seem very quiet. Okay, I'll have a look in just 1 minute. Could be the... Okay, how's that? How's that? Is that better volume-wise? The sound settings should be fine on this. We can always turn it up a little bit as well. Do it that way. Let me know how that is, Anarchy, if that's any better or any worse. Okay. Seems very, very quiet in chat today. We've got Met Advice Guy as well. Good evening, good sir. Thank you very much for joining. Okay. Still in the middle of setting some things up here, so I'll just be a couple of minutes, guys. And then we'll get into the build which I have here today. And then we'll see how that gets on and how that goes today as well. But it should be all good. Okay. Okay, how are you guys doing anyway? Better now. Okay, good. Glad the sound is better. I've been rushing around all day, so setting up has been the last thing on my mind at the minute. I've been decorating one of our spare bathrooms today, so it has been one hell of a busy day. I haven't stopped rushing around, scraping paint off the walls and painting and stuff like that, so it's good to finally be able to sit down, relax, have a drink, although I'm just drinking Coke at the minute, and taking it steady away. Just give it a few more minutes. Hopefully the bot's going to ping soon. I forgot the at everyone tag on Discord. Yeah, sorry about that earlier. I do apologise. It was one of those things. You know, bit of a mistake. Just in the habit, as it were, and typed in the wrong thing. So for those that don't know, on the UK Discord, rather than tagging streamer news, which is the optional tag for people who are interested in streams, I tagged everyone and abused my mod powers completely by mistake. Never wait for the bot, lol. Yeah, well, the bot will ping eventually. We'll start the show off proper when the bot pings and that all gets underway nicely. But until then, I'll just keep myself entertained with you guys. I know a lot of people are still travelling this week, so I'm expecting it to be very reduced viewership, just because a lot of people are at KeyCon. So we'll see how that goes anyway. If my phone will go on its bloody mount, there we go. Why wouldn't everyone want to watch one of your streams? I suspect most of them are still getting flights, or are still hungover, or are still travelling from wherever they've been to get there. So I suspect that's what it is. And God, it's really warm today. I don't know if you guys have got it as warm as we have here, but it must be 27 degrees today, I think, something like that. In the office earlier on, it was 31 when I checked on the wall. I've got the aircon on now, so if you can hear that in the background, I do apologise. But we'll see how we get on. We'll see how we get on. There we go. Okay, I still think that text is a little bit big, but we'll leave it and we'll see how it gets on. We've got Langlandia as well saying hey, so hello to you as well. Glad to see you. I did see the updates that you put to GMK Cafe with the actual colour chips next to a black and white set to prove that it's not monochrome. I did like that, and that was a good touch. So well done on that front. And I suspect we're going to be waiting probably 10 minutes for this bot to ping. It's not going to be a quick one today, I don't think. But we'll see how we get on. We'll see how we get on, because I'm excited to build this. Another carbon fibre plate build today, so look how good this looks. Carbon fibre is definitely my favourite material for plates at the minute. And this one looks exceptionally good. So there we go. We've got John O'Warren here as well. Good evening. And we've got Kronberg10 as well. Or Kronborg10 saying hello, Top Clack and stream. Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, depending on where you are, good sir. We're just waiting for the bot to ping and see how viewership goes. As I say, I do expect it to be really, really quiet stream today, purely because everyone's going to be travelling back from KeyCon, but we'll see how it goes. Charlie says, Yo Jay, I have to say that plate looks dope. It does look really good, doesn't it? I do like carbon fibre. I think I've got another carbon fibre plate I can show you as well, actually. So this is for an upcoming build as well, which will be on stream in a couple of weeks. So this is carbon fibre. It's the same weave, but it's actually got a silver line running through it, which looks great. So I'm excited to get that build underway in a couple of weeks. That's for the Cypher. So Cypher R2 has just been announced on Geek Hack. I built Cypher R1 a couple of weeks ago on stream, and I'll be building the revised version of the Cypher in a couple of weeks' time. And by that I just mean new plate and PCB rather than a whole new case or anything like that. But I'll be rebuilding it effectively. Post KeyCon stream. Nice. Well, I'm glad you got to go to KeyCon. I'll be at Seattle in just over a month's time, 2 months' time. Sorry, just under 2 months' time. About 7 weeks away, I'll be at Seattle, which is a 15-hour flight there and a 22-hour flight back, which I'm not really looking forward to, but it'll be worth it to see everyone who gets to go out to that meetup. Kronborg10 says, I'm excited to see the built KBD67. I'm considering a lot to buy one. So this is actually the third one I built on stream, but the other two have been for other people. This one's actually mine, and we'll talk a little bit about the case itself when we get to it. The audio video is unsynced, by the way. Okay, let me see if I can fix that. I did do a test recording. Let me try that. Okay, how is that? Is that better? Testing 1, 2, 3. Is that more in sync or less in sync? No one's telling me. I think it got worse. Okay, I've got in the wrong direction. Let me change. Okay, is that better? There is a delay on the whole set of videos, to be honest, so I have to align this camera and this camera in settings. So this setting should be better now, I think. If I'd gone too far in the other direction, this should now resync it all back up. I did do a test recording and it seemed to work just fine, so hopefully that's better. If it's not, tell me and I'll have another go. Okay. Still waiting on the bot to ping. Still a bit unsynced, mate. The video is still delayed, so you're hearing the audio first. Okay. Try doing a little bit more tweaks to the audio. How about now? Testing 1, 2, 3. Hopefully that's better. I'm really worried about it now. Still there. Okay. Yep, still delayed. Okay, so you're seeing the video after I'm saying it. Testing 1, 2, 3. I can't work out which way that means I've got to say sound. Tell you what, let me do something like this. How is that? How is that? Is that more or less in sync? We'll get this tuned together, guys. Hopefully it's not too far out. Better. Okay. Yeah, that's a bit better. Okay. Is it? Are you still seeing the just a little bit more? Okay. Okay. We can do a little bit more. How about now, guys? Testing 1, 2, 3. I'm glad you guys are there to help me through this. Only slightly off now. Good. Good, good, good. Okay. Talisman Solutions with the 1111 bits. Thank you very much. Yes, I can clap. There you go. Almost perfect. Good enough for me. Thank you. There you go, Nebula. Hopefully that helped. About 0.5 seconds. Well, I've already adjusted it by over 2,000 milliseconds. 100 millisecond increment. Okay, so boy said it looks good. Let's try this one last time. One last time. Hopefully that's all right. Hopefully that's all right. Georgia as well. Hello. Good evening. Good sir. Thank you very much for that. Hopefully that's better. Just a smidge, but so much better. Nailed it. Okay. 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 I'm just gonna go half a setting then. I'm not gonna bother testing it. We'll just go with it. Okay, so that should be pretty much perfect now. Pretty much perfect. And I suspect what the difference here is the difference between when I record it on my machine and to how Twitch is interpreting it. Because I'd already got a 750 millisecond delay on it, and now I've got a 1250 millisecond delay. So, thank you very much for helping me on that one, guys. The stream looks solid now, mate. Thank you, thank you. And hopefully we won't have any issues with the camera today. We should be all good from that perspective. Just move the mic a little bit. It doesn't seem to be overheating. It's actually been turned on now for approaching 48 hours, constantly capturing what's happening on my desk. So hopefully we'll be all right this time. Hopefully we'll be all right. Okay, this bot still hasn't pinged. Guys, we've been live 15 minutes nearly and it's still not pinged. This is crazy. I don't know what's going on with it. Don't know what's going on with it. The stream looks almost as good as Jay. Well, the new thing about this is the new camera. It should be so good. I mean, the level of detail when it zooms in is just phenomenal and stuff now. So I can actually show you guys what I'm talking about when I'm doing some of the detailed, intricate stuff. So I'm really excited to do that as well. Twitch is so broken. Yeah, but sadly it's still the best platform compared to everything else that's out there at the minute. It's still the best option we have today. Show an artisan. Yeah, I don't have one to hand. Let me grab one. Okay, actually looks like carbon fibre. It is. Let me show you an artisan now. Let's see how this zooms in, guys. There we go. How is that? There we go. Try something else. Here we go. I don't even know what this is, but there we go. There's something else to show you guys. But much, much better in terms of picture quality now. Let's see if we can show you something a bit more fun. How about this? There we go. Something with some incredible detail on it. There we go, guys. If I'll zoom in at that distance. Now I want it just to be a little bit further away. There you go. You guys can probably actually make out the Keyforge logo on the inside of this. There we go. Anyway, enough of that. There we go. Just stream on YouTube, Pepega, flexing with those artisans. Camera's just an excuse at this point. Maybe, but I just wanted to show you guys that the actual quality of what I can get out of this camera is much better than what we had before. So hopefully that'll be really, really good and useful. And it looks like the bot has finally pinged as well, so yay! We can actually start doing the stream. Okay, finally pinged. Yeah, bot just pinged. Yep, seen it. there we go. It popped up on my screen and showed me that it pinged. Okay, guys, so what we're building today, yes, this is a canoe that I'm using. This is my current daily board. I'll show you guys this. The light's probably going to be a bit bright. I'll wash out the camera, so I'm just going to hide that. But yeah, that's the canoe. Logo infill there for you as well. So there we go. That's the board I'm currently using at the minute. That's got Holy Pandas in it. It's an R1 canoe, one of the original run. So yeah, really nice board. Got Mr. Keebs as well. Good evening, good sir. Thank you very much for your support last week. I really appreciated that. Finally get to catch a top Clack stream. Excited for this build. Thank you very much, Jurassic Park. That's a great name, by the way. I like that. Miss it already. Oh, we'll get you back on sometime soon, dude. We'll get you back on sometime. Salt Rock Lamp as well with the resub ×5. Thank you very much. It says nothing like a good Sunday build stream. Yes, I agree. I love doing these on my Sundays. This is what makes my Sunday, to be honest with you. So yeah. What keycap set is POG? This one is GMK Solarized Dark. The cool thing about this board actually is the LED. So that probably shows as white for you, but it's actually a teal blue. It actually matches this colour in real life. But when I press the caps lock key, it goes red. Again, that probably shows as orange to you guys, but it is actually red, I promise you. And then we'll take caps lock off. It's the only board I actually have caps as caps lock on because of that function. But hey, there we go. There we go. Right, guys, so what we're building today is a KBD67. Now, we'll get onto the board in just 1 second, but as I've shown already a couple of times, we are building it today with a carbon fibre plate. So this is a 1.5mm thick CNC milled carbon fibre plate, made in ISO fixed layout, with the same bottom rows we saw on the canoe a few minutes ago. So we're going to be building with that plate today. It does have some of the nice meme cutouts that you can see just here where my finger is. And we've got a couple more around the different parts as well. So I'm looking forward to using that. In terms of the PCB, nothing really key to show out here. It's a standard KBD fans 65% PCB. Supports anti-ISO, few different layers on the bottom row. USB-C, which you guys can probably just see there. Hold on, let me just click off that. There we go. So you can probably just see it's USB-C if that focuses. There we go. Nothing remarkable about it. It's just a standard 65% PCB. So there we go. Bag of stabilizers. Now I started to clip these earlier on. I will finish off clipping them and show you on camera how I clip them as well, and a couple of things to watch out for. These didn't come with the board. These came from Faxa, who is the stab daddy. So if you guys want stabs in the EU, check out Faxa. He's on Top Clack and pretty much every other Discord. So these are GMK screw-ins, and I'll finish clipping those in a short while. Some bump-ons, because who doesn't love some bump-ons, and all of the remaining screws to pop the board together as well, including a mini Allen key or hex key. The switches we're going to today for our trash pandas, so these are completely stock except for everything about them. They've had the springs swapped for TX 70 gram springs. These are TX springs in here. The springs have been lubed with TX oil, which I'm not a big fan of, but I'm going to give it a chance in a board. And the stems and the rest of the switch have been lubed with Krytox 205 grade 0. So these are, not sure how well we can zoom in on one of these. Not tried this. There you go. There you go. Just a trash panda switch. So these are plate mount switches, and they're probably going to be a pain to get into the plate, but we'll see how we get on. So there we go. So that's the switches. To one side as well. That balances that. And then what I'm going to do is show you the board. I'll just catch up with chat and see where we've got to. Mr. Meister Green Seppo is here. Salt Rock Lamp says, do you still have a brass or alu KBD67 build? Would be great to compare at the end. Do you know what? I don't have any of the other builds. None of the other builds were mine. I built one and gave it away last year to Nebulant. He won a small giveaway that I did for one of the boards. I built another one for DNL. And he has that board now. I do have a brass one coming now. Way has promised me that I can buy the first brass one that works off the production line, so hopefully that'll be sometime soon. I just need to wait for him to tell me it's ready, at which case I'll be able to then compare it against this particular board. This one is Nebulon's there waving. Yeah, he's got my original one that we gave away last year. So this is one that I asked Way to make specifically for me. When the R2 came up, I asked him to make me one in a nice chocolate brown colour, and he's done exactly that. This is chocolate brown KBD67. It's one of the best anno jobs I've seen on a KBD fans board. I'm not sure how well that brown colour's coming across. It probably looks a little bit grey. The only thing I'm slightly disappointed by is the marks in the weight, or the accent piece. There's a couple of scratches on there. I'm probably going to get that on the buffing wheel at some point to try and fix it, but we'll see how we get on there. So there we go. One thing I do love about this board is just these nice dolphin linger type curves and straight edges there, just to make it a little bit easier to pick up. I really do like those. Very QXP style, and some other boards as well. There are a couple of marks on the inside, and again I don't know how well this is going to show up. I'll try and get the right angle on here. You might just be able to see some horizontal lines running across the board, which is the mill pattern from when this was CNC milled. They are showing through on the inside of the board only, which is a good thing. Nothing on the outside of the board, but those are just slightly visible. Yeah, you can see them a touch in the light. Yeah, just slightly visible. That's just a sign that it wasn't sanded or polished quite enough on the interior. They are very hard to catch even in real life, but they're there. But again, it's on the inside. No marks on the outside. The anno is pretty nice and smooth on the outside. I'm really happy with this board, and can't wait to get some keycaps on it and get the board built. Langalandi, if you're still watching, this might be the board that ends up with GMK Cafe on it. We will see. We will see. Let's catch up with chat and see what's going on. Boy314 says, what do you usually use in the caps lock position? Control or function? I usually have it as control, and then I don't usually have control mapped as anything because I just prefer control up by my pinky. What do those cutouts around the mods do? On the plate, they add the option for sound to proliferate through the case better, so these are just to help with sound dampening. These are basically sound cuts. Again, same as here around the spacebar, it just helps sound through the plate. Wish they made it in 60%. Yeah, that would be good. Rope's here as well. Good evening, Rope. Good job to see you. Thank you very much. It's a nice looking case. I like the colour. Yeah, it's the only one as far as I know. Way hasn't done any more of these. I did natter him for about 6 months to do me one. I think I ordered it when the green one went for sale in November, and I finally got this in March, I think, something like that. So it took a little while, but Way got it all sorted for me. He is a good guy like that. Non-holy panda. Just trash pandas, guys. Going linear with this. Trash pandas. So there we go. Boy314, have you tried QMK's mod tap function? If you tap the key, it acts as caps lock, or if you hold it down, it acts as control. Yes, I actually have a 40% where I have the enter key as tap for enter and hold it for backspace, which is a nightmare. I wouldn't recommend trying it, but I have played around with it a little bit. Do you know what the price of the brass KBD67 will be? I think it's going to be around $400 to $500. It's solid brass. It's not going to be particularly cheap. We'll just have to wait and see what pricing Way comes up with. Jeff Leopard as well said you forgot you were watching this live. Night shift, bro. Oh well, these things happen. Jay, have you seen the laser cut foam insert vendor? Yes. So MK Ultra, I actually need to PM him after the show because he's offered to let Brian and I try some bits and pieces out. So of one of the builds I've got coming up soon, I will be using the internal between the plate and the PCB foam and the internal dampening as well. I just need to get him a KLE and a layout for what I want specifically. So yes, I will be doing that after the show, and we'll have some on stream maybe in a couple of weeks, and we'll see how we go. So first thing we're going to do is just take this board apart, and then we can start to go from there. So this is held in place with a series of hex keys. We'll just take all of these out really quickly. And then once we've done that, we'll carry on with the build itself. There's Apocalypse is here as well. Hey Jay, can confirm the phone from MK Ultra Core is very good. Glad to hear it. As I say, Brian and I will be getting some soon. We'll try it out and we'll let you guys know what we think on the stream. This is where this doesn't reach in. Yeah, I'm going to have to use the provided tool because my bit isn't long enough or fine enough to get into the hole. It's not often you need something that's less thick to fit in a hole. Okay, so I'm just going to undo these. There we go. Kakan says, "Aww." Also, guys, I was slightly disappointed on the main show on Thursday that none of you made comment about the mug I was using. So, you know. I've got Type Dreams in chat as well saying thoughts on the M80. Personally, not for me. It's a fixed layout TKL. The good thing is that I know it's not integrated plate anymore, so I'm glad to see that. So we'll see how we get on with when them ship. I think I'll try and get hold of one to do a build for someone or something like that. But I'm not massively going to be a fan of it. I don't really like silence builds, and if I do, there's nothing wrong with what we can do anyway. I don't like the whole muted aspect of the way they've gone with the silicone and stuff like that. I think that's probably just going to be a bit too much, but I'm excited and interested to try it. I'm always happy to be proven wrong on stuff like that, so let's see. And I don't think it'll be a terrible board, I just think it's not for me more than anything else. So there we go, that's the board taken apart. As you guys can see, this is a top mount board. So I'm trying to get you these to zoom in so you can see that just here, this is where all of the top mount fixings go together. I'm going to zoom in, there you go. You can see that the plate sits in there. In fact, sorry, I'm telling a lie actually, it's not even top mount at all. It is bottom mount in fact. So that's where the plate rests on these, but it does go up into the top and you have room for the screw head. So I'm telling a complete and utter fib there. It is completely bottom mount board. Now the interesting thing about this is technically it's not bottom mount, it's technically sandwich. And the reason for that is if I hold the plate in position as it's going to be screwed in, what you'll see is that all around the edges, the plate actually sits on top of another lip. So you can't push that in anywhere. It's not just held in place by these tabs, it's actually held in place all the way along each edge. As you can see here, there's a ridge, and the plate sits on that ridge all the way around. So because of that, it's technically going to be sandwiched when this piece presses it down, because the internal ridge on this, that you can see just there, actually does compress the plate on. So you don't actually need to screw it in, the compression there will hold it in place. So technically it is going to be a sandwich mount board because it's supported all the way around all of the edges between the top and the bottom case. But for all intents and purposes, you are screwing it into the bottom, so you could call it bottom mount and be technically correct. So, just something I wanted to point out on the board, which is an interesting design affectation. So now that's taken apart and we've talked about the internals, what we're going to do is start to look at our stabilizers. Okay, just move this up here as well. So the good thing here is, guys, I can show you how I do these stabilizers. Slip repeat, this is for me, this is a build for my personal collection. It's the third KBD67 I've built, but it's the first one that's going to be mine. So a couple of things on stabilizers. This is an insert for a stabilizer, and this is what your wire clips into inside of a housing. As you can see, there's 4 legs on the base of it. You've got one here, which you can see has got a little nubbin on the end if I tilt it. There we go. And you've got one in this corner, which again has got a little nubbin on it as well. And if you look at it from this angle, you'll be able to see those nubbins. So those 2 thin legs with the nubbins on, those are the ones that we're going to clip. You can see just in this top corner here. we go. Those are the two we're going to clip. Now what you've also got to bear in mind is that when you look down these, you can see that it's not actually flush. It's not actually flat. Those legs actually have raised bits off of the bottom of it as well. So what we're going to do is not just clip them. I'll show you how most people clip them and why this isn't something you should do. So what most people do is they clip these legs off, just like so. So you can see now that those legs have been clipped off. They're non-existent. There's now just two. But if I tilt it to the side, what you'll probably be able to see, if I can get the camera angle right, is that there's two nubbins on the bottom. They're actually sticking off. They're not actually flush along the bottom. It's got two small lips effectively. There you go, you can see those sticking upside. So the trick is to take those off as well. And then what you've got is you've got a bottom that's perfectly smooth. And that makes it a lot better from a bottom out perspective as well. So there we go. So that's that one. I think I've got one more to clip. So I'm just going to clip this one, and if you clip it at the right angle, you can take the whole thing off without leaving those nubbins on the bottom. That's those all clipped. The next thing I'm going to do is take the housing, which you can see here if my camera decides to focus. Now the front of the housing is here, which is where the cable clips in. So if I turn it on to the side, you can see that it's got the groove for the cable to clip in there. We're then going to take the insert, and on the insert you've got one side that's got two squares. If that decides to focus, there we go. And on the other side you've just got one. So the side with two squares on, that's going to go to the side where the wire clips in. I'm going to push that together like so. And then what we're going to do is take our wire, push it into the bottom hole in the front of the insert. And then once it's in there, like so, we're just going to lift that over and clip it into the front. And then you'll see that works now as a normal stabilizer. We're going to rinse and repeat that on the other side. And then we're going to do that for the rest of the stabilizers as well. So for this build, we're going to need a backspace, ISO enter, and a 6.25U spacebar. That's all we need. Nothing too flashy with this build. Let me see what we're talking about. The tooling for silicone mold for that board's dampener must have cost a small fortune. Yes, you're right, Apocalypse. It must have done. But that being said, Rama has access to a lot of tooling that most people won't ever be able to get access to. So I'm pretty confident he's got that sorted. What else are we talking about? I'm not getting anything from that foam cells and bought my own. Use it till further. Fair enough. Yeah. Okay. The tower fan in the background. Neat. Not digging the blue highlight on the controls though. Blue highlight on the controls for the tower fan. Yeah, I need to get a proper unit AC unit, but we don't really need it much here in the UK. But this weekend it's been exceptionally warm, so the fan has to be on, otherwise I'd be overheating right now. What else are we talking about? When are you going to get ceiling mounted RGB lights up to light up the wall of keys? Well, actually, funny you should mention that, because I do have ceiling mounted stream lights. So let me see actually if I can get these in the reflection of my phone so you can see them. So what I'm going to try and do is show you, if I look at my phone. So there you go, you can see the camera just above. What you can also see if I tilt it to the side is a stream light mounted to the ceiling. And then also on this side, if I can control this very well, there we go, stream light there. So two stream lights mounted to the ceiling, there we go. That way I don't have to adjust any cameras to show you that. So there we go. What caps have you got for this bad boy? I've got this keycap set, which will be going on it. There we go, GMK Carbon. That's R1 Carbon, the original run. Jay, are you planning on joining the #1 Revision 1 raffle? Yes, for my sins, I probably will do. I do want another one. I do want another. Sorry, excuse me. Sorry, I do want a number 1 TKL. The only TKL I've got right now is the Vern, which is just above me here, somewhere around here on the shelf. So yeah, it's just one of those things. I've got the same tower fan, Poggers. Nice, well done. It's alright. It's a fan. It's not great. It just does the job. Been alright in terms of heat. It hasn't been too bad. Guess that's just the northwest though. It's 31 in my office today, and it's 24 outside. So hopefully that'll give you an idea of just how warm it's been for me today. GMK chocolatier. I do have GMK chocolatier. It's on the wall. I think it's on this board just here somewhere. There we go. Satisfaction 75. I don't like to take stuff off boards once I've put it on them, so what else are we talking about? Pretty much always hentai, Euro Squad TKL, best TKL, Pingu Tel. Yeah, I do want that one as well, West Foxtrot. You know I'm always down for anything that you or Pingu or anyone else does in the community, certainly in the EU community anyway. What's on the TV behind? It's just some random music channel. Whatever you can hear music-wise in the background is what that is. Just going to try and get some dielectric grease into the lid here without spilling it everywhere. Give me 1 second. Good job, I've got a cloth always on hand. Nice, so we're putting carbon on my Waytech board, managed to get the screen working. Awesome, dude. You need to send me some pictures of that. You need to send me some pictures, because I want to see that, especially with carbon on it. That'd be amazing. Where am I thinking it gets pretty unbearable around 20 degrees Celsius? 31 is an ouch. Human body temperature is 37, yes. Assassin's Creed, I think it is Max. Alchemist's consensual. Sure, if that's your thing, if that's your fetish, dude, let's go for it. Okay, so what we're going to do now is just quickly lube these stabilizers. So as always, small amount on the brush, and then hopefully I can show you nice and closely. What we're going to do is just gently lube this side of the stabilizer here. We're going to flip that over, lube on the other side as well. Hope that's nice and clear on the camera. We're then going to take a blob of lube on the brush. If it's going to zoom in, there we go, so you can see it. We're going to go into the back of the stabilizer here. We're going to push that through, make sure it coats the wire as much as possible. We're going to turn the stabilizer around. We're going to follow the wire up and into the stabilizer. Again, pushing that lube all around. Brush it out. Make sure we're just covering anywhere that touches plastic on wire. Turn it back over. Fair blob of lube just on the back, and we're going to go into the back of the stabilizer housing like so as well. We're going to rinse and repeat on the other side, and then we'll carry on from there. Cronenborg 10 says, do you think Ritual Black's still worth it with novelties, creams, Gatorade inks, etc.? In terms of price, yeah, if you can still get them really cheap, then sure. I think I prefer to get inks personally. I just really like an ink switch. I think they're really good. They sound great. Vince, again, not a big fan. I think it's just cherry switches in general I'm not a huge fan of. Creams are good, but they don't sound great. That's the thing. They feel great, but they don't sound great. Okay, that's one done. Move on to the next one. Oh, and Talisman Solutions, thank you very much for the gift. Tier 1 sub to Cronenborg 10. They've given 145 gifts to the channel. Thank you very much, dude. We appreciate that. The problem with retools is they need retooling again as well. That's the other issue. And I think someone's had a chat with Cherry about this, because the way they've got them at the minute is not good. So they do need doing again. Given how many they create, it should be something that's retooled almost every year, to be honest. Okay. Max, I will send you some inks. Just tell me how many you want, my dude. If you want 50 or something, I'll send you some. Vince, the best linear, changed my mind. Hey man, everyone's entitled to an opinion. Okay, as I say, just going through these stabilizers now, all in the same manner. Try not to add too much lube. It's easier to add more later on if you need to than it is to take it away. But Max, when we go for a beer next week, if you want some inks, dude, you just let me know how many you want and I'll bring them for you. That's 2 done, and we'll just finish off the last one. Apocalypse says, Vince never lived up to the hype that people put into them in my experience. I broadly agree. It feels like everyone has, oh my god, my Vince are the smoothest things ever. Yep. But then I felt them at the meetup and they're really middling. The thing with Vince, right, is that you'll get 3 or 4 keys on a board that feel fantastic, like the E key, the A key, you know, stuff that's being used constantly. And then you'll get the mod keys or something like that and they won't feel great. So what that means is usually you have to buy 3 times as many damn switches as what you actually need for a particular build, which isn't always great. And the worst thing is when people say they've got NOS Vints, so new old stock Vints, as in Vints that have never been used. It's like, well, part of the reason why they're so attractive is because they're used. You know, they're worn in. It's not just because they're old that makes them good. Okay, almost finished here. Just got one more side to lube on here. More. There we go. Okay, there we go. So that's all of those lubed nicely. I'm going to pop this away. New skill learnt, lubing stabilizers. Yep. Let's just catch up with chat. Tried some inks. Keycon, man, they're smooth. Yeah, they're really nice, the inks. They're comparable to Telio's, but they sound a little bit better in my opinion. Alps, smack my head. If you're going to use Alps, then you want them to be tactile, right? You don't want linear Alps, let's be honest. Beadlock said, Beadlock's had his inks with Gat Yellow Springs at the Chicago meetup, fantastic. Yeah, I usually use Spritz 78 grams, really like them, I think they're great. New old stock bins doesn't mean, yeah, I think I agree. The only good new old stock are Alps, yeah, that's fair. How is sound of inks compared to MX Blacks? Closer to Telios than Blacks, but not quite as high pitched, slightly deeper, a little bit of a different timbre. Jay, did you see in the Jane V2CE thread the edited photos that gave us a couple more angles of the multicolour weight? It looks incredible. I haven't seen the additional pictures, no, but if you can share them, I will have a look at them because I've got both weights coming up. I've got the black weight and the multicolour weight, so I'm excited for that board. I noticed some community members using 205 grade 0 for stabs these days. Based on your experience, do you notice any difference between that and dielectric grease? Yes, it's more expensive, significantly more expensive. This tube of dielectric grease has built every board I've ever built, even in the ones not on stream, and it's still going strong, and it cost me £5. If I'd have done that with 205 grade 0, I'd be 70 quid in the, in the red by now. So that's why I use silicone grease. It doesn't make enough of a difference using 205 grade 0 on the stabs to make it warrant being worthwhile, in my opinion. I noticed some community members, yeah, we talked about that. Legit though, just get new Gatoron's friend. Yeah, new Gats are really good. That feeling when Daddy J ignores me. If things were that old, that were old but good, then people would like us, Jay. I'm older than you, man, significantly older than you, so I'm not ignoring you, but damn dude, that's a bit of an insult. I'll send the link. Yeah, do send it. Yeah. Cool, thanks for the input. There we go, no worries. Okay, so that's the stabilizers done. So what we're going to do is pop these in the board. So as I said before, we need one for backspace because we're using full backspace on this build. Anything else would be a crime. Just going to get the right screwdriver bit for this. Okay. So where they? Oh no, they are magnetized. They are magnetized. Good. Help if I could get them in. I'm just going to screw this in. So again, when you're screwing these in, guys, all you want to do is you just want to get them flush with the board. If this will zoom in, you don't want to go too tight. So all you want to do is you just want to make sure it's finger tight, pulling it against the board on both sides. And then as soon as you feel it being tight, that's it. That's all you need to do. It's nice and flush. Don't try and squish the board. I've seen a few people do builds and they've tried to really squish the board with too much pressure, and they've really tried to screw it together until it's kind of almost snapped the PCB in places, especially with Zeal stabs. So you're just going just tight enough. Hopefully we won't have any issues with the stabilizer shorting anything out given the screw-ins, but we'll have a look at that in a minute. Oops. Gator on inks, it is for my new build, thanks. We both tick the same box on the form. Depends on the form, Max. It depends on the form. €1.18, which is, as funny enough, it's about $1.20. Yeah, so a quid talisman is about $1.20, give or take. There we go. Depending on the exchange rate on the day. Okay, so as I said before, we are going a 6.25U spacebar. So this is a fixed layout plate. So what we can do here is we can, if I got this the right way around. Okay, it looks like I'm going to have to go split backspace because the plate I've had made has got split backspace. Interesting. Okay, that changes that one. Small design flaw there, guys. Oh well. Let's quickly remedy that. I don't want to be chopping into a carbon fibre plate live on stream to fix that, so we'll just build it as split backspace. That's fine. Gives me an extra key to play around with. Did I make this plate? No, Max, you didn't make this plate. It was Martin that made this plate, actually. Anyway, there we go. One less stab on this build. That's always a good thing. So as you can see, guys, this is where we're going to put the stabilizer for the spacebar. So we know there's only one place to put it. So you can see it's this hole here and this hole here. So it's the second option in. Took that in nice and neatly. There we go. We've got sashimi there as well. Roughly, wrong screws there. Do you prefer screw-in scrubs or PCB plate mount and why? I prefer screw-ins. If I'm not using screw-ins, I'll use PCB mount ones, clip-in ones. And the reason I prefer the screw-ins is just because they give me a feeling of more control. They're not any better, so less likely to slip out or pull out of the board, but it's only a marginal difference. I don't like plate mount stabs because they rattle no matter what you do to them. It's very difficult to stop them rattling. And they also don't feel as firm. They don't feel like they've got as much support on the key as PCB mount ones do. I was like 2 seconds late for that. Oh, for the CE, yeah, the CE, it was like a 1 second buy-in time or something. Are there any fixed ISO layout PCBs? Yes, there are. I have one in my drawer down there. I'm not getting it out, but it's for the JL1, so yes, they exist. I suspect your question actually means in relation to other boards. It depends, to be honest with you. There are some boards that do offer fixed ISO PCBs. There have been a couple of small group buys for them. The UK78 had one, which was a couple of years ago now, so yeah. Max made one for Cyclops as well, so there you go. Also, the Equinox from Pono as well, I think that has an ISO only option, or maybe it's just ISO on both, I can't remember. But yeah, there are a few, not many, but there are a few. HS60 had a fixed ISO variant, there you go, yeah. Split backspace plus ISO enter, big thonk, yep. Well, we're going to have to do it that way, that's the way it is. AEK and Borsdorf, yep. 8% of the market in mid-end, nice. And 159, why do I need to shut up? You know, ISO's the preferred layout in the part of the community I'm from, so nothing to shut up about, to be honest with you. Yeah, 8% of the market in mid-end. So I think that's probably right. It's probably about 8 to 15% depending on the board and things like that, and some of the data that's being collected. But I don't think any of the data is particularly accurate. So it's difficult to say how many people do or don't use ISO. Yes, West Foxtrot made that loop guide that's pinned in the Discord on Top Clack. Yeah, we pinned that when he posted it. Yeah. Okay, this is where I'd like to see Jay do a stream with gaffer tape on his face. Is that because you don't like the way I look, Max? Oh gosh, this is where this is going to be really difficult because I'm going to have to put all these switches in and they're so tight. These switches just don't want to go into this plate. We're going to have to real struggle on this one, I think, guys. Try and pop this one out if I can. Just give me 1 second. If you don't get these in perfectly level, they just don't want to go in. They're just super tight at these plates, and these switches are just so much past tolerance that it makes a big difference. Oh, there we go, that's one in. One. I bought a UK78 in Ansett was planning to convert to Universal. Planning to convert to. Sorry, you bought a UK78 in Ansett that you were planning to convert to ISO, so it was like the PCB was fixed. The PCB was Universal. I'm pretty sure there was a fixed ISO option as well. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. If you bought the $300 one, Eskimojo, then I'm glad you did because I was really tempted to buy that as well. Jurassic Park says, I'm an anti user myself but grew up with ISO and I personally think that enter key is way cooler. Wish I could switch back to ISO but really I'd rather not deal with the lack of ISO support in most group buys. And that's the problem with ISO lately. There's just no support for it. Some guys like 159 have been really good in including stuff. Max does an awful lot of options for ISO in his boards, which is great. This is going to take me forever to get all these switches in. Man, I'm beginning to wonder why I decided to use trash pandas here, because these are going to kill my thumbs. But because these are plate mount switches, I don't need to put them into the PCB just yet. I can build the board up first and then I can put them in. Man. This is just I always forget how much I hate doing this when I have to do it. There we go. Inclusion is better than being a dick. Yeah, I agree. Support ISO friends. Hobby should be about inclusivity, not exclusivity, in more ways than one. That's just my thoughts and feelings on it. Oh, don't get off, Max. Stay, boo. Stay. You know we love having you here. We need to arrange to meet up for a beer this week as well, because I'll be down in London on Wednesday, I think. Yeah, you can do it with a cap. I've seen a couple of people snap stems doing it that way. If it was a brass plate, I'd definitely be doing this. It's carbon fibre, so it should be a little bit easier to fit these in. We'll see how we get on. Some of them are going in quite easy now. Oh, you got those Jane picks? Cool. Let me get this row done and I will take a look at those. Okay, gotta love nice carbon fibre plates. Gotta love Panda switches. Oh man, some of these are so tough. There we go. And one of the big challenges, I think I'm going to be one switch short as well because I didn't plan on doing split backspace. If that is the case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a different switch for the spacebar. There we go, so that's one row done, guys. Trash pandas when it decides to focus. Come on. There you go, trash pandas. And carbon fibre. Looks good. let's take a look at these pictures. Oh man, that does look good. That multicolour weight looks amazing. Thank you for sharing those, Apocalypse. I'm more excited for that build than I ever was. Have you noticed the difference between OG Pandas and Jesus Yok versions? After meetup, chock full of Holy Pandas, I would have sworn that the OG ones were rounder, but it's so hard to tell under meetup conditions. I haven't, to be honest with you. I can't tell a difference in a blind test between the two, to be honest. They just feel the same. There might be some slight difference in the force curves, but for all intents and purposes, I can't tell the difference. Okay. Starting to make some more progress now. Snap these in nicely. Which way round does the ISO enter need to go? Okay, so it's not orientated any differently on this PCB, which is good. Yeah, I think Apocalypse is right. You're probably finding the difference because of, you know, people lubing with different things, different ways, different plate materials, different board sounds. You know, the plate material can make a big difference as to how something feels as well. So it could be 1,001 different reasons. There we go. Some of these go in really easily, and some of them just won't go in at all. There we go. Try and build a bit of a head of steam now. I'm kind of sad that Max is gone. It's always good having him in chat. Are PCB mount switches a must for the alpha keys of a half plate build? They're not a must, but you're going to find it difficult to use plate mount switches in a plateless build. So what you're going to have to do, oops, sorry about that. What you're going to have to do is effectively solder one pin of each leg of each switch. So one pin on each switch, one leg of each switch. And then go around, make sure they're all aligned, and then solder the second one in, which is just going to take a long time to build. So it's doable, but it's not something I'd recommend. Put my Jesus housings in the canoe plate, and after I was done, the little pieces of housing all over my table. Yeah, that shouldn't happen with carbon fibre, but it would happen with a sharp plate like brass or aluminium. But yeah, these are always really tough builds to do. But we'll get there. Man, oh man. That was really tough. Look at that. I now have a cruciform for a thumb. But we'll get there. We'll get there, guys. You can see actually how much the pressure deforms the switches because this bar here is bent. But if you don't know how well you guys can see that these are all bends in them, and that shouldn't be the case. If we look at a normal switch, you'll see that it's flush and flat across the bottom. But when they go into these tight plates, they do bend a little bit. I might have to pop this one out and try again, to be honest with you. If you don't get them quite straight in alignment when you're pushing them in, they are very difficult to get out. Try not to damage the plate here. I'm just going to try and prise this out. That's not having it. There we go. So I'm trying to make sure that these go in fully straight and not turn to an angle. Oh, man, that one is super tight. Okay, let's try a third time. Just check the switch is fully closed. I've lost all feeling in my thumb tips now. There we go. That should go in a little bit easier. He says, hoping that he's not wrong. Nope. Man, maybe that's just a tight one. We'll come back to it. We'll come back to that one. Let's get the rest of the plate done. There we go. Remember use a switch opener, press them in previously. Yeah, it did dent the top of a couple of switches though, so I'm trying not to do that unless I can really help it. The challenge gets when you get to this sort of position. Let me just grab a bit of foam actually. And you're trying to push them in, and because of the spikes on the bottom of the switch, the legs, you just can't press any harder. And it would appear that my music's crashed. Let me just restart that. So hopefully what I can do now is get a bit more pressure from above and push these in. There we go. Oh, and Talisman Solution has gifted some more tier 1 subs. Thank you very much. That's 2 more. Oh no, 1 more from Talisman Solution. That's gone to Sophia Wolf. Thank you very much, dude, and well done, Sophia. Eskimojo has gifted a tier 1 sub as well. That's gone to Gunther Assman, so thank you very much for that. 2 gift subs there. Thank you very much, guys. Genuinely appreciate those. The part that holds the switch clipped into the plate is not like it is on Cherry. It's moulded into the body so it doesn't compress. Yes. Which just means that these are really hard to get in to the plate. That's 2 rows done. We've done 2 rows, guys. 2 rows. We are going to go stepped caps on this one as well. So I'll pop that in now. This should go in a little bit easier. There we go. Much more space on that one to move it around. Jay, have you tried Greetech housings, and if so, what do you think of them? Yeah, so I have some in a Tai Chi pad. They're okay. Mediocre at best is my honest view on them. Sophia says hypers. Nice. Gunther Hassman, yeah, is a great username. It's a really good username. There's some good ones out there. There is some good ones. The part that holds the switch is clipped into plate is not like to trap and molded into body so it doesn't compress. Yeah, so just what he's talking about there is the little clips here and on the reverse just there. Because these are moulded into the body, they don't compress as much. The other thing as well is they're not quite to standard. Bless me. The switches are actually a tiny fraction wider on each side as well, which means that they don't fit in properly. But that's just one of the challenges to these switches. If anything was easy, it wouldn't be worth doing. Sashimi shaved his pandas before we put them in the board. Yeah, that's something you can do. You can do. I've done it a couple of times, especially with things like integrated plates, where you can't manipulate the board quite as well. So I'm conscious that I'm doing this off stream, so let me just move this over a little bit so you guys can see. So as you can see, what I'm doing now is I'm just putting vertical pressure above and letting it press into this foam. Apologies for the noise, they are really tight. There we go. In before all switches need to be rotated 180 degrees to fit the solder holes. No, I checked that already. They're all right. I even checked the ISO enter one that wasn't rotated because sometimes they are. And to be honest, you'd just get to see more of my lovely face if that was the case. Slippery Pete, continue his gift sub from Geo. Thank you very much. That's really good. Thank you, Duke. Appreciate that. Man. I didn't shave them before putting them in. Putting them in actually shaved off the plate. Oh, yes, I see what you mean. Sorry, yes. What do you think of Ergo Clears with 62 gram springs as a first build? What spring weight would you suggest? Personally, I prefer a little bit heavier than 62 grams, but that's why I don't use Ergo Clears very often. I personally prefer 67 gram to 72 gram as a light switch. As a normal switch, 78 to 80 grams. And then as a heavy switch, well, I've got a couple of boards that have got super heavy switches in. Yeah, you can see my thumbs now. They're not in the best shape. A couple of square marks on them. We'll be alright, we'll be fine. As I say, we are going to be one switch short for the space bar, so we'll get to that shortly. Whew. We are getting there now though, guys. We are getting there. I'll have to give you guys a choice on what switch we use for the spacebar when we get to that point. Entirely depends on what board you're building. Pashimaniac, 80 to 100 gram, or 90 to 100 gram is my jam. Yeah, I like heavier switches. I do. I've got a 125 gram board that I dailied for a long time. I've also got 180 gram, the Brutal 60s, actually 180 gram switches in there that I built it with, which is also really nice, but it is heavier than most people could bear to cope with, being honest. Okay, almost there now. Wow. Not too many more switches to go. Where did I get the desk mat? At Top Clack. This desk mat was a gift from Max from West Foxtrot. So because I helped him with Chris Swires and Olivia, we helped him fund the original prototype for the ANSI as a gift when we got our ANSI boards. Mine's on the wall just up here, somewhere around there. I think it might be just above actually. He was kind enough to arrange us a desk mat for free as part of that. This is going to be the hardest switch to get in of the day, I think. I'm just going to have to try and bolster this side. There we go. Let's just see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so we've got enough for everything but the space bar. So it is going to have to be a random switch job for the space bar. In fact, actually, guys, we can. I'll let you guys choose. We can either do random switch from the tub, and when I show you the tub, you'll see it's a bit like this. It's full of switches. We can do random switch from the tub, or I can show you my lubing technique by getting another one of these out and lubing up really quickly. It's entirely up to you guys, but vote in chat and say lube or random, and we'll go from there. See what you guys want to do. 65 gram hard to go wrong in Ergo Clear, but if you try a 10 pack of Clears too, it's a very snappy tactile feel. Yep, agree. Kelly says hi, he can't watch because he's on the bus. Bless him. Gotta love a bit of Kelly. Okay, almost there now, guys. Just get these last 2 in, and then we'll decide what we're doing with the switch. Okay, so random 2 lube. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 more for random. 5, 6. People are saying lube. Okay, choose a random one, then lube it. No, I'm not doing that. Okay, so I think majority of chat is saying they want to see me lube one, so we'll go with that. So I'm going to bend the plate too much here. There we go. Okay, so that is that. In fact, I'll keep this out. What we'll do is we'll pop that to one side. I'll show you guys how I lube. Give me 1 second to grab some bits. So first and foremost, this is my lube drawer. So as you can see, I've got a ton of brushes, lubes, God knows what else in there. This was the drawer that you would have been able to pick from for the random switch. We've got everything from high rows in there to mod M's to Alp switches, which wouldn't have been any good, to Telios. To Halo Trues, to some original prototype T1 switches, a couple of those in there. Revo Clears, I think there's just about everything in here. More high rows. Alias, I don't even know what that is. Zap Browns, whatever they are. Zelios. Yeah, tons of different random bits of pieces in there. So that's what you could have had. That's what you could have picked from. But instead, you guys want me to lube one more trash panda. So I'm going to grab one of these out. I'll talk you through my process for doing these. Okay, so these are TX springs that have been lubed already. I have a few more left in the case as well, so we'll be using one of these for this bit. I'll just pop that there. So the first thing I do is pop open the switch. So onto the switch opener, I use my Nutcracker V1 nicely into there, take off the top. Now I'd normally have tubs for each different bit here, so we'll do that individually. Pop the switch into there, and eventually I'd fill up the whole thing. Nice and simple. Take the old spring, chuck it away, because we don't want it. Pick a replacement spring. Now these have been lubed with the oil that comes with TX springs, just the same as the other switches. So normally what I would do, I'll just show you, I would dip into the oil. I'm not going to do it, but I would dip into the oil, and then what I would do is I'd go into the spring and wipe it all the way around. So just for reference, what that would look like is from the top I would come into the spring. Let's see if this is going to focus. There you go. I'd come into the spring and then just wipe it all the way around the inside of the spring. I don't want to do it with that brush because that's got different grease on. In fact, that one doesn't feel like it's been lubed. There we go. And then what we do then is we find our brush for lube. We take our 205 grade 0, which is what the rest of these have been lubed with. I have these little tweezers, which I'll show you. Ooh, if I don't fall over. So what these tweezers do is hold on to the stem, like so. Just make it nice and easy to work on this. Then I'll take a small amount of lube on the brush. This is only a really tiny amount. And then what we do is I would paint it onto just like this. Paint it on there, just like so. Cover off the front part as well, including down the leg rails because it's a linear switch. Wouldn't do that on anything else. Come around to the other side. Nice, thin, even coat, and then onto the back as well. And then finally, I would just wipe around the pen rail as well there. Now, if I wasn't using 205 grade 0 and I was using an oil, what I would actually do is I would, let go that bit too soon, is I would lube inside the switch housing as well. With 205 grade 0 and other greases, I don't feel like that's worthwhile. Then pop that all back together, pop the lid on, and then we have one lubed switch. So there we go. I'll just move this back out of the way. You guys are getting to see everything, all my storage stuff today. How fun. How fun. There we go. Oh, right, so that's how I lube a switch. The insides of this keyboard is going to look fantastic. Too bad you can't see it. That's true. Jay should throw an Arctos into the space bar. Yeah, I do have some Arctos switches still. Any advantage to the carbon fibre plate? Does it affect feel? It feels very similar to brass, but it sounds a lot better. It removes any potential ping because there's no ping in carbon fibre. So it's always worthwhile bearing that in mind. Let me just grab that off there. Pop this last switch in here. Again, I'm just going to fold this up, pop it underneath. There we go. And there we go, guys. That is Trash Pandas with 205 grade 0 TX springs with TX oil in a carbon fibre plate. So there we go. The next thing we're going to do is pop this all together with the PCB. I'm just going to move the board to one side. So first thing we're going to do is just try and make sure everything's aligned. Try to make sure we've not got any bent pins. If we feel any resistance, we won't keep pushing. We'll just hold back. But the aim here is to try and get everything to snap together basically and align nicely. A couple of switches we've got a problem with. This stepped caps lock. So everything's looking alright apart from in the middle of the board. We've just got a few issues here, so I'm just going to see if we can fix that. See if we can work out what's causing the problem. Okay. So we do have one switch that's not fully pressed. There we go. So this is something where we're going to have to pin and solder the board in place and try and get a good compression. So we're actually going to start in the middle on this board. This is where I realised that I've left all of my soldering gear around the room. Okay. Just let that heat up. I'm just going to pop the board to one side properly so we've got some space to work. So what we're going to do here is, because this is being really tight, we're going to actually compress the board. We're then going to solder a couple of switches in the centre, and then we're going to work our way out from there, soldering a little bit differently to how we normally do. It doesn't look like we've got any bent pins, but we'll just double check each switch as we get to it. And that's just to make sure that everything's nice and flush, because these are plate mount switches, they're not holding onto the PCB very well. Let's just catch up with chat while we're waiting to start soldering. Can you print me off one of those and bring it with you to Seattle? Yes, I can, or I can send you the file for them. Either way, that's fine. Carbon fibre is pretty firm feeling plate. It's very firm, yes, it's very firm. Where did you get the slider holder thing? I printed it on my 3D printer from, it was a Thingiverse file. They're really good. So you don't leave the housing at all with thicker greases? Personally, no, because the grease will travel from the stem onto the housing. If I'm using oil, I will do, because it's thinner and it's easier to run, but not with the grease. I leave my springs with 3204 grade 0, and people think that's weird. It's alright. It's a little bit too thick for me on springs. It's all about preference and attitude. Absolutely, absolutely. Problem is, you need to spend so much money on keyboards before you know what you like. That's why you go to meetups. That's the biggest reason to go to meetups. Try everything. You'll find something you like, guaranteed. It's kind of fun to use a board for 6 months and sell it if you don't love it. Oh, man, I wish I could sell stuff. I wish I could sell stuff. I really do. I've got so much money tied up in boards. I wish I actually had the capacity to sell stuff, but mentally I just can't do it. I just struggle to sell things. So what we're going to do here is we're going to compress the PCB and the plate together. We're going to heat up some solder on the pin. We're going to push it all together, and then we're going to do the same on the other side of this particular switch, and then we're going to do a couple of switches around it. I'm just going to come over to this one and do the 4 corners of the board as well, and we'll see how we're doing and see how that's holding together across the rest of the board. And then what we'll probably do is probably spiral out from the centre if nothing's holding together well, but we'll see how it's going first. Conscious, I'll try not to get my head in frame. Okay, and this one's a little bit trickier because there's less space, but we'll be alright. Come on, solder, flow down. There we go. Going to come over to the far side of the board now. Just pin these in place. As I say, we are pushing and compressing the PCB and plate together, just to make sure we're getting the switch fully seated before we solder it. But we'll take a look and see how this has gone in a second. There we go. Okay, so let's take a look and see how we are looking. So on the top row, as you guys can see, everything is nice and flush and even with the PCB, all looking good from that perspective. And from the side as well, all looking nice and flush and even. What about the front? Front also looking nice and flush and even. Apart from this corner, I might just give that a bit more of a compression in that corner and resolder those 2 pins. And then again on that side we're all good. So just this one here just needs to be put, and luckily these are soldered, so what we can do is just push it in, melt the solder back into position, and then hopefully that will be now neatly aligned. Okay, much better. There we go. So you guys can see there. That is now much neater and flusher against the PCB. So I think we're all good. We don't need to do the spiral thing. If it was still pulling away, we'd do the spiral, but what we'll do now is we'll just make sure we go row by row. Lots of chat has been going on, so let's just quickly catch up with that. Give me ideas to print, please. I print a ton of stuff, so I can, if you want anything keyboard related, I've got a ton of files I can share. Just PM me afterwards. Most custom boards hold value pretty well, but that's even acceptable. Other than keyboard fans, yeah. Well, that happens sometimes. Yeah, let's run down. My Keyboard and Candy Keys, try them. They sell a lot of things, so yeah, always hit them up. Good guys at My Keyboard. They are sponsoring this build as well. That's something I should have said. These trash pandas did come from mykeyboard.eu, so thank you very much. Shout out to Juliet and David. Thank you very much, guys. I actually do have a sticker which I should show you guys actually on my Mac. This is one from Juliet. So this was available at the last meetup that they attended in the EU. This is my Mac, and as you can see, we've got Yulia licking a keyboard. There's a really famous photograph of that, where she actually did that in real life, licked one of the keyboards that she had. I think it was a real force at the time, but yeah, there we go. So really nice, cute little sticker. So there we go. Right, guys, we're going to carry on soldering. I think I've pretty much caught up with chat. If anyone has got any questions, don't forget to tag me. Jurassic Park says, Jay, do you think we'll get a vendor other than KBD Fans that sells affordable customs anytime soon? What KBD Fans does is great, but it's kind of a bummer to only have one recommendation for friends who are looking to get into the hobby. If you want to go cheaper, you can look at KP Republic. If you want to go more expensive, you're going to have to look at some of the cheaper group buys, I'm afraid. In terms of a vendor looking at that, I think the closest is Canon Keys right now, with the Satisfaction 75, the Brutal 60, and their Practice 60 as well. In terms of the scale of KBD Fans, no one's close at the minute, though. That's the thing. That's the thing. People tagging Necro Woman's here as well. Actually, yes, there we go. Yeah, so 2.5 grades will be back in stock soon. I shot off the sticker of her looking amazing as she always does, and she's got lovely bright purple hair at the minute as well, which is amazing. So big shout out to Yulia, and thank you very much for watching the stream, my dear. Okay, so we're just going to go row by row here, soldering these pins. This one is being a little bit of a pain, but there we go. Just gonna make our way across the board. My music frozen again. No, it's just quiet. It's just a quiet song. Just a quiet song. That's not a bad thing. I did get a DMCA request once on my old channel for having silence in a video. I didn't have any music on. I didn't speak for nearly 60 seconds whilst I was doing some soldering, and someone tried to monetize that on my behalf. On their behalf, sorry, using my video, because they had a silence on copyright of X number of seconds, which is just bizarre and so anti-creator that it's unbelievable. Okay. Just making our way across the board now. Shouldn't take too long to finish this off. Once we've done this row, we'll just crack on straight down the rest of the rows as well. Catch up with chat in a minute. I can see it's flicking in the corner of my eye, so I'll finish this row and then we'll catch up and see where chat's got to. Okay, looking good now. Almost there on this row. There we go. Okay, so not that easy to scare Necrowoman. Kakan says, hope you take that to work the Mac. Yeah, it's my work laptop. Yeah, absolutely I do. Necrowoman is my keyboard.eu. Yep, she is. If only I had a vinyl printer, I'd do it. I need an anime keyboard stickers. Yeah, I've got a couple. Got a few more. I need to get some more meetup stickers. San Antonio is the most foreign one I've got. Mechanicon, a couple of the UK ones as well. I need to put on there actually. Oh, Necroman saying, "Oh, thanks, Jay." There we go. Too much flex on the edges of the keyboard. Yeah, well, some people like flex, some people don't. Today I learned silence is patented. Yeah, apparently if you get X number of seconds, I can't remember what it is, it's something like 58.4 seconds or something stupid on a video, I can't remember what exact is. Someone has a copyright for that amount of silence, or at least they claim to. And a lot of these big companies just try and monetize other people's videos, which is kind of a sad state of affairs, to be honest. But such is the way of YouTube at the minute. Okay. If silence is patented, how does the BBC use it as a reference for a Doctor Who species? Well, I think it's the actual, not the name of it, I think it's the actual amount of time you spend being silent is patented. Just frustrating. We probably get them every time we do a build stream, to be honest. Even when we use music that's free for streamers and things like that and things, we still get monetization requests on our videos pretty much every week, nearly every stream we do. It's highly frustrating as a YouTuber. We don't monetize our vids on Clack. We don't have any monetization turned on YouTube at all, but the fact that other people can then monetize our videos is really, really frustrating. Just because they claim that we've got something of theirs when we don't. You know, I know people that have done live stream videos walking down a street and something's been playing in a bar as they've walked past and they've lost the monetization on their videos because it's got someone else's song in it, for example. These things happen all the time and it is highly unfair. Free usage should portray into a lot of things like this. Or fair usage, sorry, not free usage, fair usage. Okay, almost there on this row, guys. I'll have another brief look at chat before we carry on. I'm just going to do the ISO enter before I forget, because it's not quite on a row. Sometimes it's easy to miss that key. There we go. Okay. Okay, is KBD fans bust right now trying to look at keycaps on the site? It wasn't earlier on, I was on that earlier on today. Oh, it's Shopify that has problems. Who's going to buy GMK Olive? Me. I'm going to be joining that later on tonight. Kikana says it's like patent trolls. Yeah, again, it is. Yeah. The enter key. Yeah, I'm not going to get the enter key, I don't think, because I won't build an anti version of it. But yeah, I'm definitely going to get GMK Olive. We like the necessary laws to punish patents and DMCA trolling. Yeah, I think most of the world does as well. It's difficult to do. So Mizu, SA Laser, EPBT, Shirokuro, and DMG on the way as well. Nice, that's a good list. That's a really good list. That's a really good list. Okay. I've got Mizu, Nines, Minimal, Waves, Extended 2048, Kuroshiro. What else has been recent? Ski Data 2. I can't think of anything else. I'm trying to do a deal with a friend for GMK Calm Depth at the minute, so hopefully that'll come off in the next 24 hours or so. I think that's everything I've got coming in Group Buy. There's a couple of SA sets as well, actually. What I've got in SA that's due to come, I can't remember. I've got some SA sets due to come as well. I think I'm probably missing a couple of GMK ones in there as well. Oh, Hamon, that should be here soon as well. I think that's about to start shipping in the next week or two, actually. It's Hamon, so I'll be excited to get that in as well. I feel like there's another one that I've joined recently on Massdrop and I can't remember what it is. I'm not sure, but there'll be lots of key sets out there, I'm sure. I did get Deep Space in the other week, which I'm really impressed with, actually. I do really like that key set. And I got a second version of Olivia as well. I finally managed to get a second set of Olivia for group buy pricing, which was really, really nice of the seller. So that was a lovely unexpected surprise. And I know that 159 has kindly got me some Red Sam keys for me to buy off him when I get to KeyCon, not to KeyCon, to Seattle in a couple of weeks' time as well. So I'm looking forward to that too. Okay. Making good progress now, not too far to go. Once I finish soldering this row, I've just got the last row to solder. And then, sadly, I don't have a USB-C cable to hand. I'll see if I can find one very quickly and we can test it out then. But I don't think I've got one to hand actually. We shall see. In fact, I do have one to hand. The Ocelot macro pad uses USB-C. I can just steal the cable for that. There we go. Okay, almost done on this row here, and then I'll just run down the last row really quickly. And then we will be done with the soldering. Man, this feels like it's taken forever to get this far, but that's mainly because of getting these switches in. It took me twice as long as I expected. So I do apologise for stealing even more of your guys' time. I'm really sorry about that, guys. But we'll get there. Build's almost done. Then we can get some keycaps on it, get it put onto the board properly and tidied up once we've made sure that everything works. And then from there we can do a bit of a sound test before we finish up the stream. Okay. Okay, just moving on to the last row now, guys. Once this is done, we'll do a quick 2-minute break, try and catch up with chat, and then I'll carry on finishing the build off. We'll test the board, and then we'll finish the build off, put some caps on it, and then we'll get a sound test done. Okay. Oops. Next switch is just here. Almost there now, guys. Just a few more switches to go. And then we're almost done with this particular soldering build. We'll keep the soldering iron out until we've tested it, make sure everything is working as intended. You know, sometimes how that can all play out. Rest that there, put the solder away. Right, let's catch up with chat because I feel like that's been going some way. I think Dixie's Stories Where I'm right now is part of the outage going on. Yeah. Did DSS Dolce turn up? No, it should be here on Monday or Tuesday. I will post some pictures as soon as it arrives and let you guys know what it looks like. How's GMK DMG doing? They've had samples approved. I think it's in production now. Anyone got Vile Bloom? It looked amazing at KeyCon. I didn't get it, sadly. No, I didn't get it. Oblivion V2 in 2 days as well. Yeah, I've got Oblivion still. I don't think I'm going to buy V2 because I've got Oblivion V1 in both colorways, so we'll go from there. Installing Hold Tights or Milmax? No, just soldering, complete soldering. RPI guy. I don't really tend to do hot swap boards very often. I much prefer soldered builds. It just feels a bit more permanent to me. Oh, they're waiting on the third set of samples for DMG, right? The grey slough. There we go. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, they usually do produce caps of different colours to try and get through the delays. We've got Chewy in chat as well from Mex on Deck. What's up, Jay? Sorry I'm late. No worries, my man. Saying, is this the personal KBD67? It is. This is the chocolate KBD67. So this actually arrived whilst I was recording my video with Mex on Decks. It actually turned up while while I was on camera with them. So I actually unboxed this for the first time and had a look at it in front of them live, which was quite cool. I'm not sure if that made it into the video or not, actually. I can't remember. They're going with a TKC approved grey for GMK DMG. Not sure. Have to have a look at it. Okay, but there we go. That's all soldered together. What we'll do now is just get up a switch hitter, and then I can show you guys if this is working or not. Let me see if I can capture that actually. I'm not sure if I've still got this set as a scene. No, let me add this as a scene. Window capture. Sorry guys, I'll be 1 second. There we go. So you guys can see switch hitter there. Let's bring that to the front. There we go. Cool. Okay, so that doesn't look so great, but we can just minimize this. You only need to be able to see when these light up, so we'll just go with this. Sorry, I deleted a lot of scenes the other day, so I'm having to do this on the fly, so I apologise about that. You only need to see where it lights up anyway, so you guys will be alright from there. Let me grab that up on my other screen so I can see what we're doing. Okay, so what we're going to do is just flick that over to that will do. That's as close as we can get to 65%. I'm just going to steal this cable. Oops. There you go, you can see the underglow is working. And then let's see what works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Oh, okay, so that works as well. That comes up. Backspace, yeah. Home. Okay, so all the keys are working so far. We'll worry about the programming later on. Enter's working as well. Page up, page down. Caps lock, yeah. ASD, F, G, H, J, K, L. The punctuation keys all working just fine. Page down we've already tested. And let's do the arrows. Yep, all working fine just there. Shift. So that will need programming in. It never usually works on KBD fans boards out of the box because it's an ISO layout. Everything's working there. That will be FN. So I think we're all good. Let me just try and see if I can get something to light up with FN. There you go. F keys at the top. So there we go. So that's just proof that FN is working as well. There we go, perfect. So just the one key to add into the programming matrix and then to change the layout as well, which we'll need to do at some point. I don't want to lose this cable, so I'm just going to plug this back in. There we go. So there we go, that's the whole PCB all working and aligned. So the next thing we're going to do is pop the case together. Now, as I did mention, this is bottom mount in terms of screw-in, but it's actually not really bottom mount, it's more sandwich mount than anything else. So there we go, that's all nicely in place. We'll get the screws ready for this. And I'll get my screwdriver out as well. So I have got the smaller screws here for this. Just change the screwdriver bit. Give me 1 second guys, let me find the right bit here. And I can't remember which bit I need. 6, I think. That should be the right one. There we go. Okay. I'm going to start over in this bottom corner here. Screw it down nice and tightly. In fact, that's not gripping very tight. We use the provided Allen key. Okay, that's one in. We're going to go up to the top corner. There we go. It's going in nicely. Always wary of cross-threading these. Don't ever want to do that if I can help it. Not going too tight, just going reasonably tight. Again, the aim isn't here to tighten things up so much that we damage the carbon fibre or anything like that. Just want to get it tight so it doesn't rattle around, so there's no movement there. and then that should be good. I'm going to come up to the top corner now, and then we'll do the 2 middle ones afterwards. Okay, so this one doesn't want to go in. There we go. Now it's going. There we go. 2 more to go. I'll just try and do this top one first, and then we'll drop back down. Okay, let's just see what people are talking about in chat. They're waiting on one more sample for the grays for DMG. That's good. Yeah, I'd rather wait than not get a set that I wanted. The blue, purplish, red, and white look great, so I'm sure they're going with the grey. Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. Sophia is saying it's so small. Yes, these are really tiny. Is the video that seems slightly behind the switch hitter? Yeah, it will be. The reason is because this camera's got a slight delay on when I'm recording, so it's got like a 750 millisecond delay. So yeah, you'll see things like up on switch hitter first, because I haven't added a delay filter to that. Okay, so that's that bit done. We're next going to put the top case on. That all lines up nice and neatly. I'm going to flip the board over. Now we'll use the ones that we took out earlier on from the board to put this back together, and again I'm going to just barely tighten this one, and the reason we're going to do that is so we can get the board nice and flush when we put the next one in the top up here. So as we tighten this one up, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we can feel that the board is neatly aligned on all 4 corners. Okay, that feels good. Then pop one in this bottom corner, get this all nice and neatly aligned. Then we'll go back and tighten this one up. Then we can go pop one in the top corner. Oh, Gio subscribed at tier 3. Thank you very much, dude. A tier 3 sub, 21 a month. That's absolutely huge. Is split backspace the only layout for this board? No, split backspace is the only layout for the plate I've bought. Not for the board. Interesting to see ISO with split space. Yeah, I didn't intend to do split backspace. It's just one of those things. Reminds me of focus layout. Yeah, I didn't intend to do it. Yeah, the brand looks great. Got any key set plans for the future on this? Sorry if the question's been answered. Had to leave for work stuff. I'm likely going to put. Well, I'm going to put GMK Carbon on it now. What I would really like is a set of OG die subs. That would be really nice for it with an R5 bottom row if I can get something that'll fit, but that's unlikely. If not, then I might go with GMK Chocolatier, but it all depends on how good Carbon looks, to be honest. Okay, so that's the board all screwed together. In fact, I just missed the bump ons. Let's get these in place really quickly. There we go, that's one in place. And 2. Three. That was not quite in. Bump on slightly misshapen. It's in now. And then let's get the last one in here. There we go. So that's the board all popped together. Just show you that up close, guys. The chocolate brown, the carbon fibre, the trash pandas. I think that looks pretty nice. That's a pretty good looking board. Tidy up these screws, bits and pieces, and then we can carry on with the fun part. We can get some caps on the board, and we can do a bit of a sound test. So as I say, we are using GMK Carbon for this particular build. We'll see how it goes. Apologies for the noise, guys. If this is really loud on the mic, I do apologise. In fact, actually, we can get rid of switch hitter now, can't we, as well? We know it's working. Let's remove that. There we go. Is this a stock colour or did you get it Cerakoted? This isn't a stock colour and I didn't get it Cerakoted. I pestered Way until Way agreed to do me a board in chocolate brown. I actually bought the dark green version and then I begged him and begged him and begged him and said, you need to do me a chocolate brown version, and eventually he did one. So that's the story behind this. We know that's function. Don't need any 1U keycaps. Get my alphas there. They can go to one side. We can move what we don't need to one side. Don't think we've got the grey ones on this actually. We'll see. Might need that. Definitely need all these keys. Don't need that. Don't need that. I should have sorted these keycaps out beforehand, guys. I do apologise. Won't need that, won't need that. Oh, we do have the grey arrows, so we can decide together. You guys vote. We can have either grey arrows or we can have orange arrows. You guys let me know in chat what you'd like to see, and we can go from there. I think I'd prefer to not use any of the orange keys, if I'm honest. I think, but I'll let you guys help me make that decision. Sounds nice. It sounds like Legos. Yeah, because you split backspace, go with R2 backspace. R2 backspace is the future. Doesn't split backspace imply R2 backspace? Yeah, pretty much. Carbon is so pretty. Yeah, it is. It's really, really nice key set, to be honest. I'd say we'll just work our way through what we're doing, and then we'll get there. So many damn keycaps. Sorry guys, I should have done this before the show. I don't know, I haven't decided exactly what keys I'm going to use on this yet, so I'm pulling quite a lot of different things in here that might not get used. In fact, we definitely won't need that. We definitely will need that. There we go. Let me know, guys, whether you think we should use the orange or the grey ISO enter as well. And the same with the arrow keys, orange or grey arrow keys. I'll leave that decision in your guys' capable hands. Okay. Now I do split backspace so infrequently, I've actually not got a clue what keys I'm going to put there, but we'll see when we get to it. We'll be able to make the right decision, I'm sure. Oh, maybe we could use the orange escape. Let me know, guys. Which orange accent keys do you guys want to see? Which keys should I use? Won't need that. Won't need that. Might need that. Oops. Just keeping all of the 1U keys I can to one side, just in case we use them. More orange arrows. Don't need that. Okay, okay. Starting to make some progress now, guys. We can start getting these on the board in a second. Don't need that. I think I may have misplaced some arrow keys, but we'll get there in a second. Okay, we'll sort out the arrow keys in a second. I'm probably just missing them it's quite simple. I'm not always the smartest tool in the shed, guys. There's an arrow key. I think that's all of them. We'll find out the rest if we need them. Right, let's get on with the capping this board, and then we can make a decision as to where we go from there. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. ZXCVBNM. There we go. Okay, now we can start to fill out the board a little bit better. Go with scoop caps as well. Let's find the scooped F before we go any further. There we go. ASDFG, there we go. Don't need the 8. Okay. T, there we go. Okay, starting to make some progress now, guys. Hopefully you guys can see how this is going to look. UIOP, that's right. Okay. Okay. I feel like I'm missing a couple of keys here. They're probably in the pile. I didn't sort them out. Okay, let's see what you guys have said. Nice colour board. Thank you very much, Ramai. That's good. Are the stock boards such as the H could be R2 like this? Probably. Orange Enter, grey arrows, orange escape. Okay, we'll go with that. Nebula, because you were the first person to post it. I don't have a keycap puller to hand. I do have one. Just 1 second. There we go. Go for the orange escape up there. There we go. Okay. This is where we get to the split backspace. I'm not quite sure what to do there. I'm not quite sure what to do. Yeah, I'll have to have a think about that because I don't usually split backspace. I'll probably have one of them as delete and one of them as backspace, perhaps. I'm not sure if I've got a 1U backspace actually. Let's have a look, see what we've got. It doesn't look like this set has a 1U backspace key. That's typical. Absolutely typical. No 1U backspace key. But I don't think many sets do, to be honest with you. Okay, I'll think of something to go there. We'll just put scroll lock there for now. Page up. Page down. In fact, I think I'm going to change that round. Let's change that actually. I think I'm going to go for page down there and page up there. And then, do you want to go for delete? No, actually, I think go for end. There we go. That'll do for now. That'll do for now. I'll work out what I'm going to use there, keycap wise, later on. Okay, making some good progress now, though. There we go. Okay, so what did you say, Nebulant? Did you say grey arrows? Yes, okay, grey arrows. There we go. And there we go. I'm going to leave these keys out because I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to do with that. This kind of cluster here. I'm not used to doing that kind of layout, so I'm going to keep those keys to one side and I might change my mind on how we lay that out. But there we go, guys. That is GMK Carbon round 1 on a chocolate KBD67 with trash pandas Krytox 205 grade 0 for the stems, and then TX springs lube with TX lube at 70 grams. There we go. Where does the grave backtick key live on ISO UK? If you've got a TKL, it lives on the numbro in that corner. That's just the place that it lives. Normally what you'd have is you'd have tilde and hash in this corner, but it's not quite. This key set doesn't have UK ISO layout. It has just generic ISO layout, so that's what we've gone for here. Using a plastic keycap bullet. It's plastic, but it's got little rubber bits, little rubber inserts just here and here, so it's not going to damage the switches in any way, shape or form. I've just realised there's a few different options I can put in this top corner now. I need to have a think about how I'm going to lay these keys out. This is probably going to change in terms of the legends, but the colour will be still the same. So there we go. Let's pause the music in case that comes on loud. But what we should do now is a little bit of a typing test and see how this sounds. So I'll just bring the mic over. You guys can let me know what you think. There we go. Spacebar sounds really good, but it's a little bit on the loud side. These top keycaps sound great. There we go. I do really like this board. I think that sounds alright. I think the spacebar sounds fine, it's just a little bit loud. I think the sound is okay, it's just a touch on the high side, so I'll try and see if I can dampen that out later on. I do really like the look of this board. I think this key set works better than I thought it would on the board as well. I'm really surprised by how well it looks. So yeah, so let me know what you guys think. Thocky sounds really nice. Yeah, it does sound really good. I'm really impressed, especially up here. That sounds really good. That sounds really nice. Right-handed spacebar, interesting. Yeah, so the reason why I type with space, and everyone complains at this a lot of time, and the reason why I use forefinger on the space is for two reasons. One, because I'm an idiot, and the second reason is because I'm used to using a trackpad constantly with work. So effectively what I've got is I've got a mouse here with a trackpad, and then I have two buttons above it. So if we imagine I've got something laid out a little bit like this, and what I do is I type, and I have my thumb on the trackpad, and I have a thumb for clicking, and then that just puts my forefinger right down here in the area, so it's easier for me to go like that than it is for me to go like that or to go like that. It's just one of those things. That's just the way it is. What I might do to dampen it, Geo, is I might just put a little bit of padding just underneath the space bar between the plate and the PCB. I've got some bits of padding around that I can try and use that with. I've got a roll of it somewhere. I think it's behind me actually. There's a roll down there of some padding that someone sent me to try it the other day, so I might give that a go. Is that a Lenovo trackpad? It is a Lenovo keyboard, yes. Being at work, that's all they ever give us, either that or the Mac. And again, I do the same on the Mac because I'm using the trackpad and using the keyboard, and yeah, just one of those things. I use my index finger for space too. I think it might be because I don't really use my thumb much for my mouse. I use the mouse thumb button all the time, so I've got a little button down at the bottom here on the MX Master 2. I use that all the goddamn time. But what I don't do is use my thumbs for that. And it's literally because I'm so used to just being here. That's my natural typing position, is to have my thumbs down here when I'm typing, because that's where I'm used to having a trackpad. So, you know, it's one of those things. Shame you don't give you a dock at work. Well, they would do if I had a fixed desk or a fixed office, but my job means that I'm in Manchester, I'm in Leeds, I'm in Halifax, I'm in London. Every day it's very different to me where I am. My team's spread all over the country. I go to where they need me to be to support them best. So there's no point in me having a dock, because I need 4 or 5 of them, and I don't have a fixed desk at the offices I go to. So yeah, dock's just out of the option. You know, it's not a thing. And soon Seattle, Mr. Worldwide, well, UK wide perhaps, sometimes I'm in Scotland as well, so UK wide fine, but not worldwide. Soon Seattle, yes, I'll be in Seattle on the 27th of July. I'll actually get there a couple of days beforehand. I'll be there from the Wednesday, so I'll be there for Thursday and Friday as well. It's likely that I'll be doing the show live with Brian on Thursday that week at his place, so we'll both be together at the same time. It'll be interesting. I'll then be at Seattle, so if anyone does want to come and say hi, please don't feel shy or anything like that. I'm really approachable, real life. Talk to anyone. You won't shut me up. In fact, you'll probably regret speaking to me in the long run. So let's go for that. So yeah, so that's the build, guys. If you guys have got any questions, then ask now. It's the time to get those questions in. If you don't ask now, well, the stream will be over in a couple of minutes. I am really unsure as to what to do up here. I think what I'm going to probably do is have delete on the second one. I'm probably going to have print screen here or here. No, I'll put print screen in the top corner. Let me grab that. Let me see if I can find the print screen key. I think print screen on this one is actually a different colour though. Wait, have I already moved it up here? Oh, it's there. Print screen. There we go. Put print screen there. I think I'm going to have delete there. I'm going to put pause there, not because that's where it's going to be, but that's because it just feels nicer with the 2 sub-legends at the front. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's got the 2 front sub-legends there, so it kind of mirrors it nicely. So we'll go with that. And then I think I'm going to change that for FN, and I'll change that for control, and then we'll get the final layout done. So let me just find the one new FN key for there. There's a code key. Oh, there's an FN. There we go. And then let me try and change that one for control. There we go. I think that's how we're going to stick with it. There we go. Much nicer. Okay, so let's see if there's been any more questions. Shopify every keep site. Down site's still down. I'm sure they'll be back soon. Talk about what keyboard are you most looking forward to by the end of the year. I'm really waiting for my Jane CE. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm also really looking forward to the J02, which is my personal board. The J01 was done earlier on this year. The J02, I got the prototype the other day. There's a couple of things I want to change before I share it. But the J02 and the J03 are in the works for me as well. So the Jane CE, J02, J03. In terms of other bits and pieces, I'm excited to see a couple of designs. I want to see what happens with the Bauer from Dixie. There's no ISO on it, which is kind of a bummer for me, but we probably end up buying one anyway. I also want to see what Canon keys are going to come with next. UPass is a great friend, so I'm hoping he's going to do something cool. I'm also want to see what the follow-up to the Kepler is too, because I suspect that's going to have to be something even more special. So we'll get to that and we'll see how that goes. 65 without blockers shouldn't exist. That's probably fair. The blocker is really cute. I do rest my little pinky on 65 with blockers quite a lot as well. So there we go. Google Computer Engine is having issues in the northeast region of the Americas. Damn, that sucks. That's really sucky. Hopefully that'll get fixed shortly. Man, yeah, that's not good. That's not good. Hopefully that'll be fixed soon. But there we go, guys. Let me know what you think to the build. I think it sounds good. Those keys especially sound great. Yeah, I'm really happy with this. I'm going to take this to work tomorrow and I'm going to use it as my workboard for this week. So there we go. If I was to sell something in my collection to make room for new boards, which one do I think would be the first one out of the door? So it would be something that I don't use. There's a few that I don't use that I have out there at the minute. So I don't use my clue board ever. That's not even been used since I built it back in November. I haven't even plugged it in since I built it. That's got GMK coniferous on it at the minute. It's a grey board with a polycarbonate bottom. That would be easily at the top of my list to sell. Another one would probably be the TX1800 V2. I have two of them. I've got a blue one and a grey one. The blue one's at work. It's got GMK ski data on it and it's bright blue. It looks really nice. The grey one is sat in a bag. It's actually just over here in the bottom TX bag that you can see on the stack of 3 bags there. It doesn't get used ever. It's been dismantled for over a year now, and I haven't even thought about building it again. Technically, it's in my build list, but whether that actually happens or not is, to be confirmed. So yeah, that's probably it. It'd probably be those two. Those would be the first ones out the door. The rest of the collection, I've probably got. I'm somewhere north of 100 boards now. I think I'm about 106 or 107 boards. So yeah, I don't know. Okay, so that's what we're going to do, guys. We'll close down the stream there. There doesn't seem to be any more questions coming through. Thank you very much for joining. Nice 2-hour stream, 2 hours and 10 minutes. I'll see you guys soon. But thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see you on Thursday, guys. Thanks very much.